football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching? This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here on a Friday morning. I'm Jeff Parles. She's Alex White. Midway point of August, Alex. Also, by the way, 1 week from today, I guess I can announce it real quick because we'll have something from our friends over at Vegas, Maddie and Tony, who we saw on the show yesterday. 1 week from today, Football Frenzy returns, Alex White. So we'll have our show at 10 a.m. and then Chris Andrews, Vinny Magliulo, you and me will be here at noon. So double dipping on Friday coming starting next week here on the channel.
You're really jumping ahead here, Jeff. I'm just happy that it is Friday after this very busy week. So we'll get to that Friday in 7 days, which I do look forward to. Love having both of them on the desk and do a great job with us previewing all of the college games. And then once we get to NFL as well. But Fridays, as always, are sponsored, and you saw him yesterday in studio. Make sure if you are looking for a proxy, you visit footballcontest.com. Go with the pros. It matters if you're going to sign up for any contest this summer, and you're running out of time. So get down to Vegas. Visit proxy.footballcontest.com. Use the promo code ALEX, ALEX. You'll get a special offer from Maddie and Tony. So, as mentioned, we talked about it yesterday. 14 days now, right? You got to get your entries in if you are going to do the college football contest.
Yeah, you got to get it done. Again, week one. Yes, technically week one starts next week, but that's not for the contest as it is. But
that's crazy.
Hey, Alex, an entertaining baseball season made it fly this summer. So credit to baseball for being a lot more entertaining and a lot more interesting than it's been over the last few years, at least in the regular season. And that's why we're, again, 7 days from tomorrow, we'll be kicking it off in Dublin, Ireland with Farmageddon, Iowa State, and Kansas State to start off the college football season. Also on the show today, our friend Dwayne Colucci, who we missed on Monday, will get today at 10:30. So we'll see Colucci in about 25 minutes from now. He will run through the whole NFL preseason card for this weekend. So Dwayne will tell you where the action is. If Alex and I happen to have anything on the NFL card for this weekend, we will let you know in about 25 minutes from now when our friend Dwayne Colucci hops on. All right, let's go to baseball first, and we begin in Chicago. The Cubs, who are a season-high 8 games behind Milwaukee after falling yesterday in Toronto to lose 2 out of 3 to the Jays, return home and are big favorites against the Pirates, who got smacked around in a 3-game series by the Brewers. Brewers have been doing a lot of smacking around of teams, 27-4 in their last 31, which we'll get to the Brewers, who have a huge series coming up in Cincinnati. That's the next game on the card. But the Cubs are minus 190 with Colin Rea. Ashcraft on the other side for Pittsburgh, a plus 170. 8.5, Alex. Here's your total at Wrigley here today.
A few missed opportunities for the Cubs there. I know they had some base runners with no outs. Guy on second and third and didn't score anyone in that one. So I really do think the Cubs are going to start figuring it out here. It's got to be the right side. I mean, the Pirates have lost 5 in a row coming into this one. But the Cubs have lost 3 series in a row now, taking just 1 out of the 3. So that does make me nervous. That means I don't want to lay that price, minus 190. I know that people are kind of just taking the other side because of the number, which does make sense with a team that is struggling. So all that to say, I really have nothing. I do think Ashcraft has been pretty good for the Pirates, but I don't expect him to go long. And on the other side, I think Colin Rea has been pretty decent and just good enough here. About 2 earned runs per 5 innings for him in his starts. That's a pretty good record there, 9-5. So hopefully they can get it rolling here. I think the Cubs is the right side, but again, too big of a price to jump in here.
I'm in 100% agreement. Again, the Cubs still lead the wild card. They are the number 1 wild card in the NL over the Dodgers and then the flailing Mets, who are barely holding on for dear life against the Reds, who we'll get to right now. Cincinnati is going to throw Nick Martinez tonight. The Reds took 2 out of 3 off of Philly, beginning a big week against 2 first-place teams, and they welcome in the scorching, red-hot winners of 12 in a row, 27 out of 31, have pushed it to 32 games over 500 now, with 42 games to go. The Milwaukee Brewers, who are in complete command of the number 1 seed, not only in the NL, but of all baseball, that the entire postseason could go through AmFam Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as we all expected going into the year, Alex. Season-high 8-game lead. So some places have a pitcher unlisted. We are expecting Jacob Mizorowski to make his return off the IL today. He's a minus 135 favorite. Total's 9. It's just a matter of how long is Mizorowski going to be able to go after missing essentially a month. I will say, Alex, I don't want to get in front of this Milwaukee trade, so I'm steering clear, even though that feels like a reasonably good price on the Reds today. Again, Mizorowski probably throws 4 innings. Milwaukee bullpen has been awesome, but again, 5 innings out of the bullpen. You're asking a lot of guys to pitch well consecutively, as we know.
You know, Jeff, you kind of just triggered something there with me with the Reds, maybe first 5 with the run line, getting that half a run. I do think that if there is anyone that could pitch well against him, it is Nick Martinez. He's just been so consistent, giving up just 1 or 2 earned runs. He did have a rough start there against the Cubs, but that's kind of an outlier. So more often than not, he's going deep into games, going at least 5 2/3 and giving up 1 or 2 earned runs. Milwaukee, it is scary though. And here at Cincinnati, even though it is a hitter's park, this year has been a ton of under. So lean to the under in the first 5. Don't know if I want to jump in there, but potentially Reds here taking a half a run in the first 5 to keep it close. Mizorowski, as you mentioned, I just don't think we're going to see him go for very long.
You know, for Cincinnati, by the way, plus a half a run, minus 130 if you want Cincinnati first 5 here today. Reds are only a half game out of the playoffs as the Mets, who have lost 13 out of 15 and have the 3rd worst record in the National League since June the 13th, have let Cincinnati hang around here. Again, you see half game difference. Reds have just have an extra game in pocket, and obviously it all evens out in the end. We'll get to the Mets later. They start a 3-game series with the red-hot Mariners, who actually have lost 2 straight games. They lose 2 out of 3 in Baltimore, but we'll get to that game a little bit later. All right, let's go to Washington next. Nats actually beat the Phillies last night, so the Phillies end up not losing any ground on the Mets as the Mets fell to Atlanta last night. So still a 5-game lead for Philadelphia. They're tied with the Padres for the 2 seed. Padres have the season victory, so the Padres have the tiebreaker as of right now entering today's action. It's Wheeler and Gore. Mackenzie Gore has been awful for the last month. He's a big dog at plus 160. Wheeler, not quite as good as he was at his peak this year, his last few times out, but this is still a nice pitching advantage for Philadelphia here on the road today.
Could not agree anymore. You're right. There's a few hiccups there in New York. Wheeler gave up 4 on 5 hits, and then Detroit gave up 3. Texas, he did go 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs in that one. Still getting his strikeouts, though. So I do think he can pitch good here against this Nats lineup. They've lost 3 in a row. They need to figure some things out, and they need to get back on the winning streak here. Mackenzie Gore coming off of his best start of the year. So we have been talking about him and what has happened. Well, it was in San Francisco against those Giants that have really struggled as of late. So I'm going to take that as an outlier. I think the Phillies can get to the Nats. Minus 180 is pretty juicy. I don't know if I want to jump in there on a team that has lost 3 in a row, 2 to the Reds and then to the Nats yesterday. But I do think that's the right side. Might have to take a little shot on the run line, though, with the Phillies at minus 120.
Phillies, again, 5 games up on New York in the National League East. It's going to be a big race between them and the 2 teams out west, assuming the Mets don't get their act together, which that would be a hell of an assumption at this point that they will. The Dodgers and the Padres and the Phillies are all separated by 1 game. So big-time race for that 2 seed. We've talked about it. It is important to get the bye, especially with the strength of the National League playoff teams, at least on paper, especially at least the top 5 at the current moment.
What a series we have coming up here in the West.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a moment, even though Padres got some bad news with Michael King yesterday. So it will be a different starter than initially planned here tonight in L.A. We'll get to that game in a moment. We do have to get the Colorado game out of the way. Diamondbacks win last night. Game didn't get there on a total, which kind of stunk, but what are you going to do?
Rockies did not do their part.
They did not help us. No. Gordon and Fott, your pitching matchup, it's 12, and Fott's minus 190 here tonight, Alex.
I can't do anything here, Jeff. I just can't figure out Brandon Fott. I mean, every time I start to back him and say that he is looking better, then he gives up 7. That was to the Tigers, so you could just take that and say it's an outlier here, but now he's at Coors Field, so I'm not that confident. I do think it's the right side once again, so if you're going to go run line, I can't fault you there, especially after the Rockies just went cold yesterday, and we were talking about them being competitive. So it would definitely be another road team with the full run line here for me if I were to bet it, but I probably won't.
Staying away. We don't bet, at least I don't bet sides at Colorado, and Gordon's been, none of the Rocky pitchers have been good, but Gordon's been okay all things considered. Again, for the 32-89 Colorado Rockies, hey, they're going to hit loss 100 by the time we even get out of August potentially. So fun times this has been all year in Denver. All right, let's go to LA next. The gigantic series of the weekend. These two teams, the Padres and the Dodgers, play each other 6 times in the next 9 games for both teams. So the story of the National League West could be told over the next week plus. Dodgers are still the betting favorites. They're minus 165 out west, plus 135 on San Diego. This is from DraftKings. And on the Dodgers FanDuel on that Padre number, San Diego's 1 game up. Dodgers currently lead the season series. So the Padres do need to pick up ground when it comes to that part of the situation. Right now, the Dodgers and the Padres this year, it is 4-2. It is 5-2 LA. So Dodgers only need to get 2 out of the next 4 to win, 2 out of the next 6 to win the season series on San Diego. So keep that in mind for this weekend. Remember, no game 163 anymore. If it's tied, tiebreakers will determine who wins the division. Kershaw against, we think, Randy Vasquez tonight, who got promoted from AAA El Paso, replacing the yet again injured Michael King, which stinks for San Diego. He only made 1 start after coming off the IL. It was not a shoulder, it was a leg this time for King. Minus 170 on the Dodgers, plus 155 on San Diego, a total of 9 in this one, Alex.
I did see that actually as I was going through the games last night that he was back on the IL. But is it just
it's a leg injury for King.
So it's not full season, right?
Not the shoulder. No one seems to know.
Okay.
It's a knee. It's a knee inflammation for King, but it's not that shoulder that he had missed all that time with earlier.
Okay. So looking at this one, I do think that the Dodgers is the right side here at minus 170. LA's been kind of funny this year. I mean, they really do play to their competition. So when they're playing a tough team that they need to beat, as you mentioned, 5 wins so far over the Padres this year, but then swept by the Angels for the season series. So I do think that they can play well here today and we'll get up for this game. I was interested, and I never really look at this, but I figured Clayton Kershaw's probably pitched against this team a bunch of times, 148 at-bats, 277 average, 314 on-base percentage for these Padres against Kershaw. But I think we have to start treating Kershaw like regular season Kershaw. I mean, he has pitched outstanding. He has 1 outlier in there in Boston, so can't take too much from that. I think the Dodgers are the right side. Probably not going to get involved in this first one, though. I think the total's correct. Don't really know what to expect from Randy Vasquez. I don't think he'll go too deep into the game, though.
Be interesting to see this weekend for the Dodgers and the Padres. Again, this is now the tightest race with the Mariners losing back-to-back days, 1 game out west. And I will tell you, the Dodgers should not be minus 160. They are minus 165. They shouldn't be. If you just look at the way these teams are trending at the moment, and I get it. Look, the Dodgers, if they go 2-4 in these 6 games against San Diego, they would be 3 games behind, but could very easily make up 3 games in a little over a month. They win the division via the tiebreaker. But you just watch these two teams since the trade deadline, and I'm willing to go even a little bit before the trade deadline for San Diego. Padres are the better team. And I know that's crazy to say about a Dodger team that, look, they're correctly power rated number 1. Their top 4 hitters are the best top 4 hitter combination in baseball, but their starters don't give them any length. They have gotten the least length in Major League Baseball this year from their starters. I understand that is also mixed in because Ohtani's now started 7 times and has pitched into the 5th inning 1 time, but we're seeing the other teams that are at the bottom are the White Sox and the Rockies, who are the two worst teams in baseball, and the Mets, who are 4th worst at this, who are completely floundering right now. So it's really hard where, look, I understand the Dodgers a year ago won a World Series in part because of how successful bullpen games were in the postseason, but this is hard to do over a 162-game stretch. And the Dodgers are showing that right now. The bullpen's fatigued. The starters aren't going long in games. That's a problem with 6 weeks to go against a San Diego team that their lineup is hitting the best it's hit all year. And what does San Diego have better than anyone in baseball? They have the best bullpen depth in baseball, and their starters are at least giving them 5-6 innings of late, which leads you to, all right, good luck going against Adam and Morejon and Mason Miller and Suarez in the last 3-4 innings. Good luck at that point, Alex White.
Jeff, I'm in. You convinced me. Padres plus 155. I forgot, too, on Wednesday when I saw my dad, and he's been talking about this on our show and talking about having a factor for the hot teams, right? And
Sure.
he said that he's just kind of got it going, and they were like 7-1. And he said, well, that's betting on the Padres, the Brewers, the Guardians, so those teams that are really hot. So forgot about that factor here with current form and where they are, and Padres come in here on a 5-game winning streak. So,
well, I think this is more from my point. I think that more has to do with the division as a whole, as opposed to tonight. Look, it's a pitching advantage for LA. There's no arguing that. And Kershaw's pitched well. I got to give Kershaw credit. I thought he was completely washed. He's pitched very well over the last 2 months. But long-term, division-wise, San Diego's a better team right now. And if they can, if they can somehow go 5-1 in these 6 games, push it up to a 5-game lead with the tiebreaker, that might be lights out. And that price that's plus 135 right now is not going to exist.
Yeah.
If the Padres take 2 out of 3 this weekend, that price isn't going to exist on Monday. So We'll see how it is. Again, the counter to that is the Dodgers take 2 out of 3. The Dodgers are going to be a way bigger favorite come Monday as well. All right, let's go to Toronto next. Bassett and DeGrom tonight, north of the border. Blue Jays take 2 out of 3 off of the Chicago Cubs. So Blue Jays still a 5-game lead in that American League East over the Boston Red Sox. DeGrom's coming off a loss his last time out, pitched well, but ran out of gas and got hit up in that 7th inning against Philly last Saturday. I kind of like Texas here tonight on that price with DeGrom. It's, even though Bassett has pitched well, he's been pretty lucky, all things considered. And Jacob DeGrom, I think, has gotten pretty unlucky his last 2 starts. I would look to Texas here. Minus 105 is the best price in the market here at the South Point. So I would look to Texas here on a short underdog price.
I agree with you, Jeff, especially with DeGrom. Had a couple hiccups, and now it looks like he's back. It was kind of like that do factor in that last game. But I can't jump in with the Rangers losing 6 of their last 7. That just makes me worried here against this Toronto team. Now, I mentioned it yesterday. They aren't as hot. They're 2 games under 500 in their last 18. So, it's not like it's an automatic play on the Blue Jays either. It was a lean to the under, but I don't love it at 7.5. So I'm just going to stay off of this first one between these two.
Up next, we go to Houston. Baltimore, who took 2 out of 3 off of Seattle, now gets the other AL West power. The Astros are minus 220 with their... And look, I know Hunter Brown's been awesome, but Framber's still their best pitcher on the bump here tonight, minus 220. Young, who has been brutal for the most part this year for Baltimore, plus 190 on the other side, and a total of 7.5, Alex.
I got to jump in here with the Astros because I love Framber Valdez at home. He's just so much better. In his last home starts, let me count how many. 6 home starts, a .92 ERA, .92 WHIP. So I just think that he's going to be happy. 3 of his last 4 starts have been on the road. He feels comfortable here. I think this is a great price for them if you want to tie him up with somebody else. I don't trust the Orioles against lefties, so I say great price. But, I do think it is about a 40-cent difference of what it could be, even though it's a big price. So I like the Astros in this spot. Got to find a way to bet them. Don't really want to jump in with the run line. Probably won't get those last at-bats in the 9th. So probably tie them up with somebody. But I'll be on the Astros one way or another. I was just going to go Orioles under team total, but it is 2.5. So that makes me nervous for the full game. But yeah, Houston.
We go to Minneapolis next. Tigers and Twins. As the Tigers last night in a game that lasted 11 innings found a way to win 4-3.
11 innings and still
under.
Still stayed under.
Ole and Morton here tonight. Second start with the Tigers for Charlie. Minus 130 on Morton, plus 115 on Ole. Total 9.5. I feel like this is a cheap price on Detroit, right? Minus 130, kind of like what we saw in Chicago this week, where Tigers were priced cheaply. Now, they didn't get there on the run line at all, but they did win 2 out of 3 at good prices. Kind of want to go back to the same strategy we did earlier in the week, even though it didn't fully work where basically the unit you won on the Tigers money line got wiped out, got half wiped out by the run line play. But I would look to it again. Tigers minus 130, run line plus 120, laying the run and a half. That'd be the look here tonight for me.
I'm with you. I think they should be about minus 180 here on the road against this Minnesota Twins team. So minus 130, great price. I probably won't get too cute, like you're saying. Just go with the money line there for them to win the game. But yeah, I really like Charlie Morton and think he can pitch well here in this game. He did see this Twins lineup once, but that was back in May. Just went 4 innings, 3 earned runs in that one. But I think he can go longer here in this one, and don't really know what we're getting from Jose Urena. So I think that's the correct side, minus 130.
Up next, Alex, we go to Kansas City Royals. Starting to play a little bit better. Back to one game under 500 at 60 and 61, I should say. Still well on the outskirts of the MLB postseason picture, but hey, crazier things have happened, and you get 3 against the White Sox here this weekend. Minus 180 with Noah Cameron tonight against Aaron Civale. Total of 9. Shy Sox on the other side of plus 160 if you want to take a shot on the price.
I don't really want to take a shot on that price, even though I do really like Aaron Civale. And if you look at his last 3 starts, I mean, lineups have not been able to get to him. Batting 105 average and a 2.10 xFIP. So it's not even just that he's been lucky. He's just pitched really well. So, I can't do anything here. I really still don't trust this Royals lineup, and especially against a pitcher like Aaron Civale. So nothing for me in this one. I guess it'd be a lean to the White Sox in the first 5, but I don't think I have the guts to do that today.
Up next, Alex, we go to Sacramento. The Angels have owned the A's this year. They've owned them. Haven't lost yet against them.
7-0.
7-0. By the way, if the Angels just played the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Athletics, they would win the World Series.
Right.
7-0 against the A's, 6-0 against the Dodgers, 5-1 against the Red Sox. Pretty darn good. Yeah. Their win percentage against everyone else is barely 400. That's why the Angels are 3 games under 500 entering today's action. Minus 115 tonight on Kikuchi, even on Perkins. Total of 10. Alex, I think this is a really good price on Kikuchi here tonight against a team that the Angels have pummeled. And this is a pretty significant pitching advantage as well. I'm a little bit stunned by the way this game is priced.
Everything you said is accurate. I agree with you. I mean, and I've kind of been tough on Kikuchi, but he has been pitching really good. He has one outlier against the Tigers. Once again, wow, that seems like the common theme of the day. But I do. I think they should be minus 140 here on the road. So that is a big enough difference where I think you're getting some value if you want to jump in on the Angels. The only thing that makes me nervous is that 7-0. I mean, here we are in Sacramento. I think we're going to get some hits from both sides, some runs from both teams. So that makes me a little bit cautious on this one. But I think the Angels is the right side. And I almost lean to the over here. I think we're going to get runs.
I don't have a problem with an over in Sacramento, as you know. Never will have a problem with that. 10 is actually not a bad number. Just looking at it tonight at Sutter Health Park, It is 90 degrees with the wind blowing out to dead center at 8 miles an hour. You can never fault an over in those conditions in that ballpark. So
agreed.
Maybe Angels and over tonight. Maybe we go an SGP here today.
You know, we've been very strict. It might be time to do a little bit of gambling. let's
what have we been doing the rest of the way?
I mean, we've just been like value trying to find
I know. I just I couldn't help myself.
That's good. For anybody that didn't understand, though, that's probably good.
Let's go to Boston next. Red Sox are hosting the Marlins. Miami loses 2 out of 3 at Cleveland after the Guardians get them last night. The Red Sox finally lost back-to-back series in Houston and San Diego. So very happy to be back home for the Sox. And they go Lucas Giolito tonight at minus 160. Alcantara, I'm still a little surprised Miami didn't move him at the deadline at plus 145. And a total of 8.5 tonight at defense.
I think this is it. This is my partner for my Houston Astros here. I really like the Red Sox. And I've been talking about Giolito a lot. And I mean, his median numbers are so good. Going 6 innings, 5 hits is in there, but 1 earned run and 5 strikeouts, and even better at home. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for the Red Sox after losing 2 series in a row. They're happy to be back home. They get the Marlins. Now the Marlins have been hitting better, but I definitely think the Boston can get to Sandy here. So I am going to probably tie up the Red Sox with the Astros.
Can't really fault you on that, Alex. Again, Red Sox currently in the second wild card in the American League, a game and a half clear of the Yankees entering tonight's action. We'll get to the Yankees a little bit later. There you go. Mariners, Red Sox. It would be a Boston-Seattle AL wild card matchup, and it would be Yankees and Astros. All right. I could be talked into that right now as the 3-6 in the American League. All right, Cleveland, who's on the outside looking in barely, only a half game behind the Bombers entering today's action. And they'll throw Cantillo tonight against the Braves, who took 2 out of 3 over the Mets during the midweek. It'll be Waldrop, who's actually pitched pretty well in limited action so far for Atlanta.
Yes.
Minus 115 on the Guardians side, even on Cleveland, total 8.5 at Progressive tonight.
Young pitcher definitely has pitched well, though, for the Braves here. I really have nothing in this one. I mean, I think it should be about a pick 'em, and I think that 8.5 is right. I would lean to the over because honestly, I mean, both lineups have been hitting, and I think that continues here. I don't have that much confidence in it. I worry that either of them can also go cold at any time. So pass for me between these two.
I feel like that's a cheap price on Cleveland, but I don't trust either. Even though Waldrop's pitched well for Atlanta, don't trust him, just not enough of a sample size. And I don't trust Cantillo on the other side. But that feels like a pretty reasonable price on Cleveland, who they're playing well. They're getting breaks. They're taking advantage of it. And again, I think that's a cheapy price on Cleveland. It'll be a look to the guards. That'd be the only thing I consider doing here, Alex.
Now, the Braves they have won 4 of their last 5 as well.
They're hitting, and also they're hitting, which is the other thing. Last night was the first time they were held under 5 runs since Friday. So, and they still won the game last night. So their offense is starting to hit a little bit in Atlanta again. But again, it's been a misery for the Braves, as we know, this season. All right, let's go. Well, speaking of misery, let's go back to Queens. The Mets, who have allowed the Reds within a half game of that final wild card slot, have lost 13 out of 15. They lose, and the last 4 losses have been in excruciating fashion, including last night where they blow a 3-2 lead in the 8th, lose 4-3. And they welcome in the Mariners, who had been red hot up until the last 2 days. The Mariners have won 8 in a row, and then Baltimore takes them out 2 days in a row to take the series off Seattle at Camden Yards. Castillo and Manaea, the problem that the Mets have had has been starting pitching length.
Right.
Senga actually got 17 outs yesterday, which was a shock. But again, the Mets have only had 1 starting pitcher pitch into the 6th inning over the last month, and that's David Peterson. That's been it. Manaea, who has been wayward in his return from the IL, is a minus 120 favorite tonight against Luis Castillo, and the total is 8.5. I don't know how the Mets are favored in this game tonight, Alex. I think this should have been a pick or a slight Seattle favorite with Castillo. That is a pitching advantage to me with what we've seen from Manaea so far this year.
The only thing with Castillo, and I've been talking about it, is his home and road split.
Yep.
So that's what makes me nervous here. And the Mets, I mean, it's really their bullpen that's been giving it up late into games. So they have been putting up runs. And I think this Mariners team can start to hit again now on the road. And Manaea, like you said, it's been pretty inconsistent. So I think they could get to him. I'm leaning to the over here, over 8.5 with both these pitchers going. But I mean, Castillo really on the road, 4.31 ERA, and at home at 2.41. So that's a drastic difference there. So I think the Mets can keep the offense going here in this one. So it's a heavy lean to the over, even with those 2 big names on the bump.
I have no issue with the over. I have no issue with overs in Mets games right now, even though last night did not get there. The Met offense has been better the last 5 days, but again, they're just playing miserable baseball, and with a hard schedule to boot, the Reds, to me, should be favored to get that final wild card at the moment, even though that's not what the market is telling you right now. All right, let's go to St. Louis next. The other New York team, the Yankees, who lost the game to the Twins, which actually might be the most offensive thing they've done over the last month. Sorry, Twins fans. And we'll throw Luis Gil. This is start number 3 for Gil this year. First start was terrible. Second start was perfectly reasonable, 5 2/3 and 2 earned against Houston his last time out. Now you play St. Louis, who's coming off look, It's an embarrassing series against the Rockies. You lose 2 out of 3 at home, and they were damn near swept, too. They were losing that win in the 8th inning. Minus 30 on the Yankees, plus 15 on St. Louis, total of 9. I don't find anything of value in this game, Alex White.
No, I really don't either. I think that number is correct with the Yankees minus 130. I will just say for Luis Gil, he has been pretty lucky because looking at his last opponents in the 2 starts, batting .333 and a 7.17 xFIP. So those are not great numbers there. I do think Palante's better than we give him credit for. And looking at his last 3 opponents, is their batting average of 146. So, I mean, do we trust either of these offenses right now? These lineups? I don't know, but I'm kind of trying to force something here. So I've got nothing. I think the 9 is correct. Don't want to go under that when I do think that number's right. So pass for me between these 2.
You and I are in total agreement on this game, 100% of the way. And for the Yankees, these are important games. Got to fight. Got to beat teams you're supposed to beat. And based off that price, the Yankees are supposed to win here tonight. Yeah,
and I mean, that is what the number is correct. But to your point, Jeff, I mean, they made those first 2 games against the Twins look really easy. And then they had turned the corner. And then it was a good pitcher they saw. So with how the Cardinals have been playing, I guess that technically is a good price there on the Yankees.
Last one up, Giants and Rays. Giants are playing awful, as we know. Rays are out of it on the American League side as well. Behind even Kansas City now. It's Boyle and Roop tonight. Roop comes off the IL, so first start back for him. Minus 125 with a total of 8 at Oracle tonight.
Yeah, I would like to take this under, but I am worried about Landon Roop coming off of the IL here. So nothing for me. It's a lean. I think that's about a run too high. I think it should be closer to 7. Don't really trust either of these lineups either, especially the San Francisco Giants, even though they are at home. But yeah, it would be under or pass for me.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, our good friend Dwayne Colucci joins us. We're talking preseason football with our guy DC when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Dwayne Colucci joins us in a moment. Checking in with the chat, our friend JR. JR is leading trivia right now. By the way, a trivia question is up at the moment, which goes to golf today, so enjoy that. JR, Angels with 6 straight overs. Bob, it's been a while since Bob's been in there Bob's bedding over, so we should have expected that. In Sacramento and Los Angeles here tonight with the A's, Angels, and Dodgers and Padres. Daryl likes the Padres tonight and the Astros in the first 5. And then Minidar, who, again, shockingly did not say anything about the Denver Broncos. By the way, Denver Bronco preview now out here out on the channel. And by the way, Minidar, I don't dislike the Denver Broncos this year, as I mentioned on the preview. Heading out to UFC 319 here tonight, this weekend, I should say. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just going to say, and for those that were doing the trivia yesterday when we had our guest, Ed Fang, check that part out too about the Broncos, because that was actually good news about Bo Nix. So from yesterday's show, if you missed it.
Yes, Ed Fang, Vegas Matty yesterday on the show. If you happen to miss it, wait till we're done here and then go ahead and watch it here today.
No one's leaving.
No one. Look, if you leave when Dwayne Colucci pops on, you're just doing it wrong. Our guy DC's with us now, back in the office. No place he'd rather be than the office up at the Rampart Sportsbook here in Summerlin, Las Vegas. DC, it's great to see your face. Happy you had a great time down at the Ponies in Del Mar, and we're happy to have you back, my friend. We're happy to have you back. So, Dwayne, I want to start, though. We got to start, though, with football, because college football starts up a little over a week from now, but preseason in full swing, Dwayne, and we got 2 games here tonight. And I clicked on my odds screen for the Falcons and the Titans tonight, and you have enough line movement to write a 100-page book on this game here tonight. But we're back to where we started. It opened Tennessee -3, got all the way to 5.5, and now we're back to Titans -3 tonight. That total, which opened 36.5, is 37.5. Dwayne, you can get this crazy action like this on preseason games, and this is one of them here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The heartbeat action, that's what I call it. And, it's like you said, back where it all begins. Start at 3, and now we're at 3. What I am seeing, though, Jeff, across the board on these preseason games, we are getting extra money on the over this year. And a lot of people are betting a lot of these games on the over side, which, preseason has been notorious with unders and low scoring and tight defense and a lot of mistakes by 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks and 3rd and 4th string offensive players in general. But this game is like a heartbeat, but it's back to 3. Like we said, we're up a point on the total. We opened 36.5. It's at 37.5. Now the Chiefs and Seahawks, this is a total flip flop, as you showed on the graphic underneath just before. Seahawks now -3. We opened this game Chiefs 2.5. So a lot of different scenarios in this game. We know the Chiefs aren't going to play many players. They basically live and die by their offensive players. And with so many injuries last year, I think they're just perceptive to that. So you're not going to see the first stringers out there for too long. Like that opening week where I was shocked. There were so many first stringers out there. And you seen what happened to Richardson. Even though he's in a quarterback battle, he just got crushed and wiped out. And I just do not believe in starting your offensive players, your first stringers in the first preseason game of the year. And, it worked out for Cincinnati. They looked very good those first few drives, but even they lost. And, you could see how the steam comes in when you get a sense that certain starting quarterbacks or starting running back is going to be out there. And, people perceive, well, they're going to get out to a quick start. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're going to level out and continue on with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stringers. So you have to keep that in mind. Not every roster is as deep as Cleveland. And now even they have 3 quarterbacks that are banged up somewhat. And Shedeur Sanders will not play this week, which is a huge factor. So you have to keep these, you have to watch the injury reports. You have to watch the practice reports. That's where Sanders got banged up, not necessarily in the game itself, but you have to be perceptive. It's very difficult, but the information is out there to handicap these preseason games. And that's why, you do see a high ticket count. We're seeing a lot of good action on these games. And, football is here. Thank God.
So Dwayne, real quick on that Chief-Seahawk game, we expected to see Mahomes. Then Andy Reid pretty much during the week said don't expect to see him. So that will be Gardner Minshew and Ludacon and Bailey Zappi, our friend Bailey Zappi, who we always love seeing play. So this opened Kansas City -2.5, got as high as 4.5, and now is obviously Seattle 3. We do expect to see Sam Darnold, even if it is for a short period of time here tonight for the Seahawks, Alex.
Yeah, Dwayne, I want to ask you, and you brought up Cleveland and Shedeur Sanders, and we've seen that line move for the Eagles here. They opened -1.5, now 4. And we saw Philadelphia play very well in their first game. Do you think people are kind of just banking off of teams having better second string, like the Eagles that are coming off a Super Bowl win here.
Yeah, definitely. You hit the nail on the head. We're seeing a 5-1 ticket count on that game, Alex, and definitely the stronger you Jeff said, Gardner Minshew, very good backup. If you're going to see him for a quarter, it's going to be a little dangerous on the opponent because he is a serviceable backup and at times is a starting quarterback. So the deeper your roster, yes, it does make it more important. And like I said, those 3 Brown quarterbacks are banged up, and I don't think they're going to expose Joe out there. So, why would you gamble on the Cleveland Browns when Sanders, the superstar of the preseason, isn't even going to suit up? So, yeah, that's a great point, Alex. And definitely the deeper the roster and the deeper you go, and even with the running backs and the wide receivers and the defense, it becomes all that more important. The Eagles are the world champions. They're definitely well-versed. Sirianni isn't going to make mistakes. He's not going to put guys out there in a position to where he's going to start right off the bat having parity in that locker room. There's going to be enough during the regular season. So the Eagles are so well coached. I think that they know how to get the job done and not sacrifice any of their key weapons out there. You're not going to see Hurts. You're not going to see Brown, especially Hurts. I mean, he gets banged up the way it is. Why are you going to subject him in this scenario? But they're definitely taking the money. It's a 5-1 ticket count, like I said, at the Rampart and South Point on this particular preseason game. And, it's somewhat shocking to me because I thought the Browns would be a definite focal point because you have so many quarterbacks that are fighting for these positions. And definitely there's a huge competition and sense in that locker room to improve this team this year. And even Deshaun Watson is walking, they said so, or running.
Dwayne, I'll take the under on half of games appeared for Deshaun Watson this year. I'll take the under.
He will not suit up for the Browns this year.
I will take the under on half a game if you're willing to give me that right now, Dwayne. Dwayne, I do want to ask you from a behind-the-counter perspective, as you look through again, I mean, you have 2 preseason games tonight, and then you have, oh my goodness, it's 12 tomorrow, so it's a full-loaded card. But I just want to ask you, we're 3 weeks away from the NFL season beginning at this point. From your perspective, what do you look for in these preseason games? Obviously, we can't overreact crazily, but is there anything that you're looking at in these preseason games that you can take and say, all right, you know what, maybe Team X's depth is not as good as I thought, or Team Y actually is a little bit better defensively than I thought? What do you take from these preseason games from behind-the-counter perspectives?
It's like I said, you have to gather as much information as you can from a bookmaker's standpoint. So you have to watch the replays on NFL Network if they pop up. You don't have access to all these games like you do during the NFL regular season, where I could break down and watch, how these teams are on the sideline as well as on the field. Very important to have locker room control, especially during the preseason. That's where you establish motivational tactics. You get to see how, impressive certain rookies are, holdouts. That's so important. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're limping into the season again. He couldn't get the Parsons deal done, which is ludicrous. You have all these different happenings. Even CD almost got crushed by a referee. That's how jinxed the Cowboys are going into the regular season. But you have to keep your eye on these things because, even a referee running down the sideline, CD had no pads on, no nothing, and he's got his back to the play. He could have got injured, and he wasn't even suiting up. So you have to keep your eye on all these scenarios. Like we said, the Browns, they're so deep, with the quarterback position and the parity of that quarterback position. So you want to see who's excelling and who could possibly start and make a difference during the regular season. Very important. You want to see how Fields plays, especially you, Jeff, how he's, controlling the offense to start. Is Aaron Rodgers, is he going to be outspoken? Is he going to be a cancer with Tomlin, or are they going to coexist? These are very important things. The characters and the character development becomes very important in the preseason. You don't want these guys to start getting outspoken and speak and write, have their mouth write checks that they can't cash. That's very important. You don't want, violence in these scrimmage games. That's important as well. You see who's motivated, who's not, who has control, who does not, and you also use the Hard Knocks on HBO. I mean, I think they have Buffalo on this year, and I was watching some of the first breakdown, and it's very interesting to see who's motivated to make the starting roster. If they could control their contracts with their starting to get those settled with Cook, that was very nice. So, you have to keep your eye on everything in the preseason because that's the product that you're going to put forth in the regular season and how it starts. Also, Cincinnati, can they protect Joe Burrow? There's so many different teams that have question marks, and you want to see if they can rectify and correct those problems before getting involved in the regular season. Very important. You're seeing the spread on these, to win the Super Bowl. Look at it right in front of you on the graphic. You have 3 teams that are less than 7-1, and then right there are the Kansas City Chiefs, who are on the verge of a dynasty if they could win another Super Bowl. Detroit, they were exposed last year in the playoffs. You have your up-and-coming teams like the Commanders, the Rams. They're going to be with Nakua, and definitely the acquisition of Adams was, to take Nakua under his wing. This kid is learning from some of the best wide receivers ever in Kupp and Adams. You want to see if they could definitely excel and stay healthy. So preseason is very important, despite what people think. Everybody gets enamored with the draft and the combine. No, it's the preseason. These guys now that are drafted are on the field, and if they can make a difference to that starting lineup, it's all the more important. So, you try to gather as much information as a bookmaker that you can, and I have to break down film and look at different things and, formulate and put together what I feel is a concise line in my head and where these lines should be set.
A unit we don't talk about enough, and Jeff brought this up the other day, but special teams, and you can actually really find out a lot during these preseason games, from the kicker all the way to who's going to be on that unit. So is that a point that you look for with preseason, DC?
Yeah, definitely, Alex. Special teams is all the more important as well. But now the NFL is kind of put the handcuffs on a lot of these punt returns and kick returns. They used to be, you had a guy like Hester. It was so important that, he could run back a touchdown whenever he wanted. But now special teams has been reined in a little bit. You saw a 70-yard field goal last weekend. That's unbelievable at this point, and outdoors nonetheless. But yeah, special teams is definitely important. Kicking game is important. These guys staying out of trouble is important. Definitely. Some of these characters, they get out of control. I'm in the NFL now. I'm going to do 150 in my Lamborghini. And before you know it, it's bringing pressure on the locker room. There's so many different assets and, things to look at. But special teams is definitely one of them. And that's a great point you bring up.
Dwayne, I thought you were breaking news that you got yourself a Lambo there for a second. So
I wish. The Camry's doing fine, I'll tell you.
Look, efficiency and gas efficiency, very important as we know these
the best. The miles per gallon on that thing, Jeff. Again, going to Del Mar is great. I mean, I love it.
Dwayne, before we let you go, I do want to ask you one baseball-related question. I refuse to bring up the Mets to you because they're a train wreck, but I want to talk about your team because they're
a train wreck too.
Yeah, sorry, I had to do it because the NL West, Dwayne, and this has been, honestly, forget the NL West. This has been a baseball-wide epidemic this year. Every division, and we've talked about this yesterday, all 6 divisions since the beginning of June have seen a minimum at one point or another, an 8.5 game swing at a minimum. That's all 6 divisions. Usually you see at most 2 divisions have that type of swing that late in the season. All 6 have featured that. Oh, and by the way, it's happened in the last 2 months. The only division that hasn't changed hands in those 2 months at any point is the AL Central, but that's seen as big as an 11.5 game swing because Detroit was 17 up earlier in the year. Dwayne, you see the prices from DraftKings and FanDuel on your screen. Dodgers are still a division favorite at -165. Padres best price available is +135. Dwayne, are those prices right on the Padres and the Dodgers still, do you think?
Yeah, you can't give much value right now, Jeff. The Dodgers are still going to be the favorite despite, San Diego's recent heroics. San Francisco has just been god-awful. And, San Diego's mashing the ball. They're doing what they should. They're getting solid pitching. The Dodgers still, the pitching unit is, it's a triage unit. And that has definitely hurt. And I think it's hurt Ohtani's production at the plate because now he is forced to pitch and go 4 or 5 innings. So until the Dodgers get this pitching staff rectified and healthy, it's going to be very difficult. You see how the Mets, a few injuries, jump out to a 6-0 lead the other night, and all of a sudden, the pitching staff falls apart. Peterson falls apart. It's so difficult to gauge and to get quality starting pitching at this time of the year. But maybe the Padres peaked a little too early. All they're worried about is beating the Dodgers, but there's several other opponents out there. Philadelphia is high quality. Milwaukee is the best team in baseball right now. I mean, they're giving away thousands and thousands of hamburgers in Milwaukee.
Hell yeah,
with this 12-game winning streak. It's unbelievable. I mean, this team has been a juggernaut since they destroyed the Dodgers, about a month ago. So very tough to gauge the National League. Milwaukee looks like their hands in above right now, but Philadelphia is still strong. The Mets still have some baseball left. Don't kid yourself. Soto is going to get that chip on his shoulder eventually. You know that. And I think the Dodgers also, Mookie Betts is not producing. That hurts. Got Muncy back. That's definitely a positive, but Kiki is banged up. A lot of guys banged up on that roster, so I can't pin it on Dave Roberts. He's doing the best he can. They're still right there in the race. Finally, San Diego caught up, went ahead. That was a terrible loss against the Angels the other night. You can't lose 6 straight to the Angels. I mean, under any circumstances, if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that happened, and that's heartbreaking to see. But, for me, because I'm a Dodger fan, but, definitely the futures market is ripe with all the California teams. We know how that plays out. So now they're on San Diego. Can't adjust too much on the Dodgers because a 5-game winning streak, and they'll be right back in front. So Dodgers are very capable. I'm not worried as of yet. There's still a lot of baseball to be played. And I think the Dodgers will come out of the National League if they get healthy. If they suffer more injuries, they're not going to come out of the National League. I still have faith that they could beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series.
Dwayne, I got to ask you, it's in my hand right now, the $25,000 jackpot parlay card, which time is running out, guys. It's going to be September 7th before you know it. How it's been up at the Rampart. Again, $5, as many cards as you want, 25,000 guaranteed. If it goes through it, it just gets added to the prize pot.
And don't come in the 6th or the 7th with the packets of cards.
Well, don't come in on the 7th.
Get them
for
in
certain,
now,
man.
Please, definitely, without a doubt, get these cards in now. Only $5, no point spread. The NFL card, $25,000. Anything over goes in the pool. Great idea by Chris Andrews, one of his best promotions and one of the Rampart's best promotions as well. Get those $5 parlay cards in without a doubt. This is a great bonus and a great promotion, and it's a lot of fun too. No point spread. Put in as many as you want at the Rampart and South Point, but like I said, not on the 7th.
He's Dwayne Colucci, NYBookie Dwayne on the tweets. Race and Sportsbook Director up at the Rampart. Go visit him. Dwayne, I'll see you week 1 college football Saturday, my friend. Be looking forward to that to get us all ready to go. And pretty good game to start off the college football first full Saturday of Ohio State and Texas. Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. 1v3 is pretty good. Right? Pretty good, Dwayne. Pretty good to kick off the first full Saturday 2 weeks from tomorrow. Of course, 1 week from tomorrow, Kansas State and Iowa State get it going in Ireland. DC, pleasure as always. Quick turnaround for you. We'll see you again on Monday.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for having me on, guys. Let's have a prosperous weekend here. Let's make some money.
Absolutely. Dwayne Colucci, everyone. All right. We will take a break. When we get back, Alex's whiteboard, and we also will give you the trivia question and answer when we get back. Sports by the Book, wrapping up the week here at the South Point studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Final segment for us here today, live at the South Point Hotel and Casino, as we always are. Of course, here in lovely Las Vegas, just due south of the Las Vegas Strip. Come on down this weekend. Again, make sure you get your cards in. We're going to be hammering this hard over the next few weeks. They're due in by, yes, technically 10 a.m. on September the 7th. That's the first Sunday of the NFL season. But as Dwayne just said, if you're on property, get them in now.
Yeah.
It's $5, as many as you want. If you don't love your picks in 2 weeks, you know what? Come on down again and put a few more cards in on the Friday and Saturday before. But again, as many as you want, $5, $25,000 guaranteed here at the Jackpot Parlay card. It's this one with the big 25. You can't miss it. It says $25,000 on the top of the card here at the South Point Hotel and Casino and up at the Rampart in Summerlin here in Las Vegas. All right, Alex, before we hit your whiteboard,
We got golf.
we got golf trivia question. Yep.
Love me some golf. What do we got?
Tiger Woods. I think we've heard of him, right? Just a little bit. Won his second major at the PGA Championship on this date in 1999, back when the PGA was in the month of August. He did it at Medina. Tiger, of course, would go on to win his 12th major as well at Medina in 2006, also at the PGA Championship. Which two golfers were the runner-ups to Tiger in the 99 PGA and the 06 PGA? I knew the 99 one because that was the one where Sergio Garcia burst onto the scene. Of course, Sergio went on to have an amazing Ryder Cup before the U.S.'s amazing comeback at Brookline in that September. He finished second, and then Sean McKeel. I would never have gotten that one, Alex. McKeel finished second behind
Me either.
behind Tiger at Medina that day. McKeel, of course, a major champion himself, was the 03 PGA champion golfer that year at Oak Hill, a shocker that year. But he finished second behind Tiger, as you see Luke Donald finishing third, Stuart Sink and Jay Haas on the other side. Sergio was top 5 in both of these at Medina, so Sergio liked playing there as well. Nick got it done. So how big is the lead for JR now, Vince? 1. So it's a 1-game lead for JR at the midway point here in the month. So could be a competition, tight competition down the stretch here in August between Nick and JR yet again, Alex.
I'm sure it will be all the way to the end, those two.
So, by the way, the poll today, which quarterback are you most forward looking to seeing this week in week 2? Caleb Williams won the poll at 37%. We expect to see Caleb Williams. We don't know for how long. Bears this weekend in the preseason. Dylan Gabriel finished second, which is interesting because I'm not interested at all to see Dylan Gabriel. Sorry, Dylan.
How many times was Ryan allowed to vote in that poll?
I don't think Ryan wants to see Caleb Williams out there at all. I think he doesn't want to see him get hurt. But again, I don't know. Chicago, by the way, plays on Sunday against Buffalo. That's a 2.5-point line, which, again, these games have had some bonko movement. Multiple 5-6-point moves this week. But as we mentioned before, Alex, overs and dogs, tremendous in week 1 of the preseason. Yep. We'll see if that trend continues here in week 2.
That's right. I am looking forward to watching a lot of these tomorrow as well.
Yeah, 12 on the card for us tomorrow in the NFL. All right, Alex, whiteboard time to get us out of here on the middle Friday of the month of August here in 2025.
And I decided to switch it up a little bit today because I am going with...
Is that a parlay?
I am going with the parlay here.
Wow.
And I'm not using the nicknames, so I'm going
You're
with...
going cities today.
That's
I
right.
gotcha.
Houston and Boston. We're taking those two together. I really like these two pitchers going. I think there's a huge advantage from the other side. So Framber Valdez, as Jeff mentioned, he's still the ace here for Houston. And then Lucas Giolito on the other side for Boston. I'm tying those two together. And then I'm going to just go with that over for the Angels and the Athletics. Selfishly, I'd like to see the Athletics break that Angels 7-0 streak they have on them this year. But I do think that the Angels is probably the right side. But I'm going with the over in that one. We're going over 10.
There we go. Over 10 for Alex in Sacramento. And then the Astros and the Red Sox. I'll say the team names, but Alex with Houston and Boston on our sheet for a two-teamer here today on August the 15th. All right. We're back Monday. More NFL previews coming out on the channel as well. So please just constantly get those notifications going. When a new video posts, you just get the notification right away when it posts. You're not going to want to miss our NFL season previews as we're coming down the home stretch, by the way. Today, post show to just let you in a little bit behind the curtain, legitimately behind the curtain. We have a curtain blocking us from everyone else here in the new South Point studio. We are at the top of the board, basically here. Buffalo and Baltimore are going to be recorded after the show. Those will be out soon as well. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, looking forward to that. But more previews coming out this weekend. Check it out on Sports by the Book here on YouTube.
We're looking forward to one of those teams trying to challenge the Chiefs, right? And representing the AFC.
Well, one of those teams has been just kryptonite. The Kansas City has been their kryptonite in Buffalo, and then Baltimore, of course. You could argue had the best opportunity of all the teams with home field against Kansas City 2 years ago and laid an absolute egg in that AFC title game 2 years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs.
The other thing that follows social media, because
yes.
Andrew, or Drew Dog, whatever you know him as, has been working very hard on our clips that preview the NFL previews. So if you don't have those notifications, you'll see us on social media. It'll remind you when you see your team that you want to go check out that preview.
I don't know who Andrew is. I only know a Drew Dog here, Alex. So shout out Drew Dog as always. That's what we got. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck. Win some bets, as our guy DC said. We're back Monday, 10 a.m. We're actually going to see Dwayne Colucci right away. There'll be a lot of Dwayne early here. Dwayne will be in that Monday spot as usual here.
And then a lot of college football throughout the week.
Yeah, I think we can get some college football in, right?
Yes.
College football starts next Saturday. I think that might be on the menu, just slightly next week. Looking forward to that. And, of course, our Football Frenzy show is coming back next Friday as well. We'll tell you more about it on Monday here on Sports by the Buck. Ryan, Vince, Drew Dog, Sean, Ann, thank you all as always. She's Alex. I'm Jeff. Have a great weekend, everyone. This has been Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas.